Chapter 22-26. 1 month. Yi Xian was speechless. Damn, can I hold on for a month? Although he has the green profound sword and can reach the time realm directly, the problem is that there are 3 genuine time realm experts here. Moreover, who knows if the Sure tribe has other time realm experts? Hold on for a month? Even holding on for a day is too much. At this time, Dao Ling suddenly said, 10 days. Yi Xian turned to look at Dao Ling. 10 days? Dao Ling nodded, yes. Yi Xian said solemnly, you're not tricking me? Dao Ling said seriously, 10 days. After 10 days I will break through. At that time we can join forces and stop the Sure tribe. 10 days. Yi Xian fell silent, still hesitating. Dao Ling suddenly asked, Brother Yi, do you have any brothers? Yi Xian shook his head, I only have one sister. Why are you asking this? Dao Ling hurriedly said, from this moment onwards I am your brother. Yi Xian's face darkened. Damn, this person is really shameless. At this time Shi Yuan suddenly said, kill. Kill. As soon as he said that, he and the 3-time realm experts charged at Dao Ling and Yi Xian. Yi Xian stared at Dao Ling, 10 days I can't stop you. 1 hour I will give you 1 hour. If you don't break through in 1 hour we will die together. As he said that, he directly sent Dao Ling into the Xiaota. As soon as he entered the Xiaota, Dao Ling was stunned. In the next moment, Dao Ling couldn't help but praise, awesome. As he said that, he hurriedly sat down and continued to break through. Yi Xian looked at the 3 charging at him, and his eyes flashed with savagery. Boom. The green profound sword suddenly trembled, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. Inside. However, it was not over yet. In the next moment Yi Xian directly went from inside to the time realm. All the experts of the Sure clan were stunned by this scene. He had reached the flowing time realm just like that? Yi Xian suddenly charged forward and swept out with his sword. An expanse of sword light swept out like a waterfall that swept through the starry sky. This sword strike contained the terrifying energy of time, and it was capable of annihilating all things. Rumble. This sword directly forced the 3-time realm powerhouses back, but Yi Xian also instantly retreated hundreds of thousands of feet. As soon as he stopped, his face turned pale. The power of time. Yi Xian was shocked. He realized that he really couldn't fully control the power of time. He couldn't maintain it for too long in this realm. Although there were no side effects, this was equivalent to him overdrafting himself in advance. He couldn't continue for too long or else he would collapse. In the distance, Shi Yuan looked at Yi Xian in disbelief. What kind of freak are you? Right at this moment, Yi Xian suddenly turned around and vanished on the spot. Run. Yi Xian immediately used the Qingxian sword to teleport. Shi Yuan's expression changed drastically, and he hurriedly said, lock down. As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched his right hand forward and clawed. Bang. The space and time where Yi Xian had disappeared in the distance suddenly became distorted. In an instant, millions of miles away, Yi Xian, who was traveling in space and time, suddenly narrowed his eyes. He turned around abruptly, drew out his sword, and slashed. An expanse of sword light descended, and the space around him was instantly torn apart. Rumble. A powerful force blasted Yi Xian over 100 kilometers away. As soon as he stopped moving, Shi Yuan and the others were still in front of him, and Shi Tian was there as well. Shi Tian stared fixedly at Yi Xian. How shameful. You're actually using external sources of strength. How truly shameful. Yi Xian thought for a moment and said, you 3-time realm experts are fighting me, yet you're not allowing me to use external sources of strength? You're going too far. Shi Tian was about to say something when Yi Xian suddenly said, Shi Tian, do you dare to fight me in single combat? Shi Tian spoke coldly, why? Meanwhile, Shi Tian suddenly said, he's trying to buy time so that Dao Ling can break through. Don't fall for his trap. Shi Tian frowned when he heard this. Yi Xian suddenly roared with laughter. How laughable. Shi Tian, to think that you call yourself the #1 genius in the entire universe, yet you're actually afraid that your opponent will break through. How laughable. Shi Tian's expression suddenly became slightly unsightly. Yi Xian continued, we clearly agreed to a one-on-one battle, yet you went back on your word and launched a surprise attack against Dao Ling. Shi Tian, don't you feel that such actions are shameful? Shi Tian stared fixedly at Yi Xian. You want to destroy his Dao heart? You. Shi Tian suddenly said, Patriarch. I think that he isn't the one who wants to destroy my Dao heart, but you. Shi Tian's eyes narrowed slightly when he heard this, and he gazed at Shi Tian. What are you trying to say? Shi Tian spoke fiercely, what am I trying to say? Motherfucker. We agreed that I would fight Dao Ling in single combat, yet all of you interfered. What's the meaning of this? If news of this were to spread, then others would think that I, Shirtian, am a sore loser. Shirtian stared fixedly at Shirtian. You have to think about the overall situation. You. Big my ass. Shirtian suddenly cursed furiously, Patriarch, I respect you, but your actions today are very shameful to me. They came to my Shir clan from the Darkwatch universe with the intention of fighting me fairly, yet you directly mobilized the experts of your clan to deal with them. Aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by others? A wisp of a cold glow flashed through Shirtian's eyes. Shirtian, you have to remember your status. You aren't the Patriarch yet, you're just the Junior Patriarch. Shirtian suddenly roared with laughter. Junior Patriarch. Ah. Junior Patriarch. He glanced at the surroundings as he spoke and then he said, Elders, don't all of you think that the Patriarch's actions are shameful? Meanwhile, Shiru sighed softly. Shirtian, on many occasions the process isn't important. What's important is the outcome. So long as you kill them, then you'll be the winner and my Shir clan will rise to prominence. The other elders hurriedly tried to persuade him as well. But Shirtian shook his head. No, that isn't the Tao I seek. The Tao I seek is to have a clear conscience. As far as I'm concerned, such actions are shameful. As he spoke, he gazed at Shirtian and said, Allow Dao Ling to break through and then I'll fight him in single combat. If I lose, then all of you can do whatever you want. However, no one from the Shir clan is allowed to act against him until I die. Yi Xian glanced at Shirtian, and he was quite surprised. Just like him, Shirtian's values were very upright. Shirtian gazed at Shirtian and said, Do you know what you're doing? Shirtian's face was expressionless. I do. Shirtian fell silent for a long time, and then he said, Shirtian, you're the most monstrous genius in the history of my Shir clan, and you'll be the future patriarch of my Shir clan. But do you know what it takes to be a qualified patriarch? Is to put the clan first in everything. When he spoke up to this point, he glanced at Yi Xian and said, You only have yourself right now and you only think about yourself. Do you know that both of them aren't as simple as you think? Especially that fellow with the sword. That sword of his was able to improve his cultivation to the eternal realm. Such ability is simply heaven-defying. If my Shir clan doesn't kill them today, then they'll continue growing. Most importantly, the Zhou clan will definitely try to rope them in. I can't allow them to leave the Shir clan alive and be used by the Zhou clan. The experts of the Shir clan nodded to themselves when they heard this. Actually, they felt that such actions were quite shameless in the beginning, but they didn't dare ask about it. After all, it was the Patriarch's decision. Now, when they heard Shi Yuan, they finally understood that the Patriarch had other intentions. Indeed. If Yi Xian and Dao Ling were allowed to leave the Shir clan, then the Zhou clan would definitely try to rope them in. Once they were used by the Zhou clan, then it would be extremely disadvantageous to the Shir clan. When they thought up to this point, all of them couldn't help but feel a trace of admiration as they gazed at Shi Yuan. The Patriarch really knows how to look at the bigger picture. Shirtian is still a little too young. Shirtian fell silent. Shi Yuan continued, I know that you're proud and arrogant, and you feel that such actions go against your heart and are shameful. But do you know that if they leave the Shir clan and are used by the Zhou clan, then if conflict arises between our Shir clan and the Zhou clan in the future, then how many of our clansmen would die at their hands? Shirtian's expression was quite unsightly. Shi Yuan continued, they're already such monstrous geniuses right now. If the Zhou clan fosters them with all its might, then do you dare to say that you'll definitely be able to surpass them? Do you know how terrifying their destructive strength would be if both of them attain the eternal realm? Shirtian clenched his fists tightly while an extremely unsightly expression appeared on his face. Shi Yuan shook his head slightly. He glanced at the surroundings and said, Elders, will all of you listen to me or this future patriarch? Make your choice. If you choose him, then I, Shi Yuan, will resign from the position of patriarch right now and stop interfering in the affairs of the Shir clan. If anyone else dared to question him, then he would just beat that person to death. But Shirtian was different. He was the most monstrous genius in the history of the Shir clan. So, if Shirtian dared to arouse any killing intent, then the elders of the Shir clan would be the first to object. Moreover, Shirtian had already been decided on as the next patriarch. So, once Shirtian attained the eternal realm, then the authority of the Shir clan would immediately be transferred to him. Shirtian was too monstrous. He was monstrous to the point of being able to change the fate of the Shir clan. The expressions of the elders changed slightly when they heard Shi Yuan. If they really chose Shirtian now, then the Shir clan would have to face a split. Moreover, the situation of the Shi clan hadn't been decided yet, so they had to rely on Shi Yuan. One of the elders hurriedly said, Patriarch Shi Tian is still young, so it's normal for him to be unable to figure out many things. Why get angry at him? The other elders hurriedly acted as mediators as well. At a time like this, the Shi clan absolutely couldn't be split apart. Regardless of whether it was Shi Tian or Shi Yuan, both of them couldn't be left behind. After all, the Shi clan wasn't invincible right now. So, once the Shi clan split apart, then it would be completely devoured by the Zhou clan. Shi Tian and Shi Yuan didn't speak. The elders felt quite awkward as they tried to mediate because they didn't seem to have any intention of backing down. Right at this moment, Shi Ru suddenly pointed at Yi Xian. I think that we can put aside the internal affairs of our clan for now. Let's kill him first and then we can sit down and talk things out. We're all a family, so there's nothing that can't be discussed. The other elders hurriedly chimed in. Right, let's kill that shameless swordsman first. Kill the swordsman. Obviously, the best way to resolve the internal conflicts of the Shi clan was to shift the conflict to the outside world. All the experts of the Shi clan gazed at Yi Xian with undisguised killing intent in their eyes. Yi Xian suddenly gazed at Shi Tian. Shi Tian, I think that you should change your way of thinking. If I were you, I would kill Shi Yuan and annihilate the ancestors, and then I'll be the master of the Shi clan from now on. All the experts of the Shi clan were speechless. Chapter 22-27. Hearing Yi Xian's words, the expressions of the Shi clan's experts became unsightly. This swordsman was truly inhuman. He actually dared to drive a wedge between Shi Tian and the Shi clan. How sinister was he? Some of the Shi clan's experts were about to attack, but they were stopped by Shi Yuan. The current Yi Xian was already at the time realm. Ordinary experts would be courting death if they attacked him. Shi Yuan looked at Yi Xian and chuckled. Yi Xian, I have to say that both you and Dao Ling surprised me. Dao Ling was able to undergo a nirvanic rebirth in a hopeless situation. His talent is extremely rare. As for you? Yi Xian smiled. What about me? Shi Yuan stared fixedly at Yi Xian. You have someone backing you, right? Yi Xian nodded. I do indeed have someone. Shi Yuan smiled. Is he strong? Yi Xian smiled. Not bad, not bad. He's just a little stronger than me. Shi Yuan's eyes narrowed slightly, and a faint smile appeared on his face. No one knew what he was thinking. At this moment, one of the Shi clan's experts suddenly said in a low voice, Patriarch, this person is stalling for time. Yi Xian smiled. Elder, it isn't just me who's stalling for time. Your patriarch is stalling for time as well. Hearing this, everyone looked at Shi Yuan. Shi Yuan's face was expressionless. I don't know what method he used to advance to the time realm, but this method definitely has side effects. We just need to wait. After a period of time, this secret technique of his will disappear. Not only that, but he might even become weaker. As he spoke, he looked at Yi Xian. Young Master Yi, am I right? Yi Xian nodded. Yes. At this moment, he was overjoyed in his heart. Would there be side effects when he used the Azure Profound Sword to improve himself? Actually, there wasn't. The only drawback was that he still couldn't fully control time energy. As long as he used time energy just as Shi Yuan said, he would indeed become weak. However, if he didn't use it, he wouldn't become weak. Yi Xian was overjoyed. If Shi Yuan and the other two really attacked together, he really didn't know what to do. Although he had the green profound sword, these three were genuine flowing time realm cultivators. Even if they were to exhaust him, they could still exhaust him to death. The surroundings suddenly fell silent. The experts of the Shi clan were waiting. One must know that Shi clan did not know of Xiao Ta's existence. Thus, Shi clan was in no hurry at all. Yi Xian was also waiting. Meanwhile, Shi Yuan suddenly said, Young Master Yi, according to what I know, you're acquainted with Pavilion Master Qin. Yi Xian nodded. Yes. Shi Yuan stared at Yi Xian. What's your relationship? Yi Xian smiled and said, Friends? Shi Yuan chuckled. Friend? Young Master Yi, are you joking? Yi Xian was speechless. He realized that if he, Yi Xian, spoke the truth, no one would believe him. Shi Yuan suddenly said, Young Master Yi, what's the relationship between you and that Pavilion Master Qin? Clearly he was afraid of Qin Guan. Yi Xian said, Friends? Shi Yuan stared at Yi Xian. Impossible. As far as I know, she has always been a lone wolf and doesn't have any friends. It's impossible for you to be her friend. Yi Xian frowned. Then what do you think our relationship is? Shi Yuan was silent for a moment, then said, I don't know. Yi Xian, Shi Yuan said again, Young Master Yi, if you think that with Miss Qingguan here my Shi clan will let you off, then you might be thinking too much. Yi Xian smiled and said, Clan leader Shi Yuan, you keep mentioning Miss Qingguan. It's obvious that you're very afraid of Miss Qingguan. He finally saw through it. Shi Yuan was very afraid of Qingguan. When he thought up to this point, Yi Xian smiled and said, Clan leader Shi Yuan, I'll be very frank with you. There's someone behind me and it's someone you can't afford to offend. Let's stop fighting and make peace. How about it? Shi Yuan chuckled. How laughable. Yi Xian was speechless. See, no one believed me when I used my trump card right at the beginning. Meanwhile, Shi Ru suddenly said, Clan leader, something's off. As he spoke, he sized up Yi Xian. He doesn't show any signs of suffering from backlash. Shi Yuan frowned when he heard this. He'd noticed it as well. Up until now, Yi Xian's expression was calm, his aura was stable, and there wasn't a trace of disorder. At this moment in the distance, Yi Xian suddenly coughed violently. Then his face suddenly turned a little pale. Shi Yuan and Shi Ru were stunned by this scene. Some of the Shi clan's experts instantly smiled. Looks like Yi Xian is suffering from backlash. Shi Yuan gazed at Yi Xian and asked, Is he pretending? Shi Ru spoke in a low voice, It's possible. Suddenly, a wisp of blood seeped out from the corner of Yi Xian's mouth. Shi Ru and Shi Yuan were stunned once more. He's bleeding? Yi Xian suddenly looked at Shi Yuan and roared with laughter. Clan leader Shi Yuan, I've heard that you're the #1 expert in the heavenly cycle universe. I'd like to seek guidance from you. Please. Shi Yuan stared at Yi Xian. You can't hold on for much longer. Yi Xian's eyes opened wide, and he seemed to be angry from embarrassment. Bullshit. I can still fight. Come over here, let's fight one-on-one. Shi Yuan smiled and said, Young Master Yi, you'll ruin your mental state by being so impatient. Yi Xian stared at Shi Yuan as if he wanted to kill Shi Yuan with his gaze. The more Yi Xian acted like this, the happier the Shi clan's experts were. At this moment, another wisp of blood seeped out from the corner of Yi Xian's mouth. Yi Xian hurriedly wiped the blood off his mouth. Seeing this scene, the Shi clan's experts couldn't help but laugh. In the end, it's an external enhancement, not the right way. I told you to speak politely, but you just had to act cool. Is this good? His physical body is gone, right? In the distance, White Sage gazed at Qingguan with disbelief, and he said with a trembling voice, What is that thing? Qingguan spoke indifferently, Hand it over. White Sage gulped and then he asked, What exactly is that? Qingguan frowned slightly, and then she pointed her gun at White Sage. White Sage's expression instantly changed and he hurriedly said, That sword isn't with me. Qingguan was slightly displeased. Are you wasting my time? White Sage hurriedly said, That sword is in the hands of my Time Sect's sect master. They're studying it. The Time Sect. Qingguan turned to look at the old man. The old man hesitated for a moment before he said, The Time Sect is the #1 extraordinary power in the River of Time. Everyone in it is a time walker. Qingguan gazed at White Sage. Ask your sect master to come out. White Sage hesitated for a moment before he said, Come with me. As soon as he finished speaking, he transformed into a ray of light that floated into the city. Qingguan was about to walk over when the woman hurriedly said, Pavilion Master Qin, I'm afraid it's a trap. Qingguan blinked. It better not be. Otherwise I'll race Time City to the ground. The woman with the sickle was speechless. It didn't take long for them to enter Time City. As soon as they entered, numerous terrifying pillars of light suddenly arose from the surroundings. A grand formation. The two of them instantly became vigilant. Qingguan's brows knit together once more. Meanwhile, White Sage appeared once more, and there was a white-clothed old man in front of him. The white-clothed old man gazed at Qingguan. I'm the sect master of the Time Sect. May I know your name? Qingguan spoke indifferently, Qingguan. The old man frowned slightly. I've never heard of you. Qingguan shook his head slightly. Give that sword back to me. The old man stared at Qingguan. What if I say no? Qingguan sighed softly. She turned to look at Yi Xian with a puzzled expression. Why? Yi Xian was stunned. What do you mean why? Qingguan shook her head. Why don't they listen to me every time I speak to them nicely? Yi Xian thought for a moment and then said, Next time, fire your spear before you speak to them. They should listen. Qingguan nodded. That makes sense. At this moment, the Time sect master suddenly said, Your Excellency, this matter has nothing to do with you. Why do you have to stand out? Qingguan looked at the Time sect master. You should be glad that he came to me. If he came to find someone else, the river of time would be gone. The Time sect master frowned. What do you mean? Qingguan shook her head. Don't waste time. As she spoke, she pointed her spear at the Time sect master. The latter's eyes narrowed slightly, and he suddenly vanished on the spot. Bang.